Let's talk Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I thought, how do you not talk about it? This isn't a WWE show, but like the course of the business changed
This
weekend.
affects AEW.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think for pro wrestling, this is the best thing that could have happened.
Yes.
But for AEW, it may be the worst.
It's kind of scary. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially now that we've heard Triple H is now in charge of creative or in charge of booking.
Of talent and creative, yeah.
Yeah. And Triple H can book a show.
Yeah, I can.
And the thing is, if Triple H had been left untouched to battle AEW, it would have been a much closer battle than Vince getting involved and changing what NXT was to trying to make it more like Raw and SmackDown. That's what hurt it. That's why they got blown out.
Yeah.
Just Triple H's NXT could have absolutely been a much closer competition with AEW than the Vince infused one. And also, I'm really happy about this for the women in WWE.
Yes, absolutely.
Like we've heard nothing but they're kind of in disbelief backstage and nervous because he's not going anywhere. And look, there is still, I'm sure, a very negative culture there, a toxic culture.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to fix.
It takes a while to fix, but being the two guys at the top being the perpetrators in most of that and perpetuating that toxic culture, and them both being gone, because I believe Johnny Ace is about to be gone as well if he's not already. That's a huge step forward. And the fact that Stephanie, all reports are that she's universally beloved. And also it seems Triple H is extremely well liked as well.
Yeah. And so he's no saint, but he's
saint,
but he's got a lot of fans. And he's got a lot of people who are Paul Levesque guys, And so when it comes to contract time, AEW's got to be a lot more nervous, because if they don't get a big TV deal, they're not going to be able to keep up, and they can't just depend on it being a crappy culture to keep people there, right? So even like a John Moxley might go back, or and MJF is definitely on the market now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing is Moxley and Jericho both left and talked about these negative things with Vince,
right?
And now that Vince is gone, and they likely probably have pretty good relationships with Triple H, which we know
Jericho could go back.
We know in particular, y'all, this is how tired I am. This is how worn out I am. The manager of the Blackpool, William Regal. We know William Regal is a guy who's probably going to go back as soon as his contract is done, because I guarantee you Triple H is going to pay him more.
Oh yeah, and he'd probably put him over talent.
Absolutely. And I think that would be a smart move on WWE's part.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other guys that we know that at least Vince had his eye on that maybe Triple H would too, like Ethan Page. And so AEW is going to have to fight much harder to keep the talent they have. They're probably not going to get as much talent now that we're not going to have I assume we're not going to have these crazy mass releases all the time. And again, I think Triple H is going to want to pull back as much of that circle of talent that was around him in NXT as he can.
Yeah.
And great for wrestling, not good for AEW long term.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. And exhausting for me, because I've gotten very used to having one promotion that I follow.
Yeah.
and I would love nothing better than WWE to be great again.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I want to watch Raw,
but man, I'm tired.
I'm tired. I do not have time, but I'm going to download Raw and download SmackDown. And I'm going to watch them eventually.
Right.
And from what I heard tonight, there was a lot of improvements.
Yeah, like little things
that would not have happened.
I didn't watch it, but what I heard, was just like you could just tell it was looser. Yeah. It was, and that's a good sign. I'm content to wait.
Mysterio cut a promo in Spanish.
Yeah, and how crazy, like how symbolic is, Vince McMahon retires, and the next show is in Madison Square Garden, where if Vince McMahon had retired under good circumstances, that entire show would have been the Vince McMahon celebration show. And he would have had
back on his greatest moments.
Yeah, he would have had a great speech at the end. It would have been an incredible episode of television.
Yeah.
But instead, Rey Mysterio, the shortest, speaking of Jonathan Gresham, like the guy that Vince McMahon never wanted to push gets celebrated instead of him.
The man who held the WWE World title and I don't think won a single match as champion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to make clear my thoughts on Vince. As a character, as a performer, I think he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Vince, and maybe The Rock. Because I think Vince is the number one heel in WWE history.
Yeah.
But as a booker, I think he's terrible. And I think he's been terrible for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he's been out of touch.
For at least like 15 years.
Like some of the names he gives these wrestlers they're literally like somebody from the 1930s, someone from the past is naming teams. And I think for years I said he's a millionaire who could be a billionaire if he was willing to treat, like he's a guy that would sign outside talent and then treat them like they're not his talent when he's paying their salaries,
Right.
And so I'm really, really excited. I've been excited for years at the prospect of Triple H. Again, not the best, not a saint.
Yeah.
But I think much more in touch with what pro wrestling is today. So I'm really excited about this.
And I'm completely reading into this. So this is completely my own speculation or my own fantasy about what the psychology of Triple H or Paul Levesque, is. We talked about, Gresham being grateful, of the opportunity. This is a guy who potentially could have lost his life this year or last year.
Yeah.
Right. He faced death. He faced his own mortality. He's had to probably make very serious decisions about his health and lost everything, really. I mean,
he lost everything.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't lose his family, but he lost his career-wise. He was pretty much out. Everyone was like, wow, you got crushed under, Vince McMahon.
They dismantled his entire support system.
Yes. And
while he's laid up, recovering from a near-death experience.
3 months ago, we thought he was done.
Yeah.
And now he's in charge of everything. And his wife is the boss.
He and his wife.
And I've got to think that he does not take that for granted. And I hope he doesn't.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And also the fact that I think I mentioned on the show before, I learned a few weeks ago, he and Steph are the ones that brought Nick Khan in. Apparently they are very, very close personal friends.
Yeah. Do you watch Succession on HBO?
I watched the entire first season. I loved it, but I haven't got into anything since.
It's if you're a fan of Succession, this whole WWE thing has been fascinating because it's it's all about when do you take your shot at the king.
Yeah, and somebody did.
Somebody did not miss
this information.
Yeah,
and they didn't miss.
Yep.
And it all happened conveniently right after Steph kind of gets ridiculed on the way out.
Yep.
And Hunter had everything taken apart and ripped out from under him while he's laid up in a hospital bed.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Right before the man who's untouchable gets just thrown right under the bus, which is where he should have been already for all the things he's done.